Hello and welcome to People Making Money. I'm your host, Kevin Bemmel, and we're here every Wednesday at our new time, 10 a.m. And we talk about things related to professional success, wealth building, and all of those factors that come into living the kind of life that we want to live. So, I was talking to somebody a while back, and they said, people making money. I don't make big money. I'm not Elon Musk, and people making money is kind of tongue in cheek, right? Because the reality is, like it or not, we have to earn money in order to live here in, the United States and pretty much for the rest of the world. It's not like 200 years ago where we could sling a rifle over our shoulders, walk off into the wilderness and, live off the land. So, um, under that guise, I think the challenge then is to find a way to make money that gives us the amount that we want for the life we want to live, but also gives us satisfaction. And to that end, my guest today, I think, is you're going to see as a stellar example of that philosophy. So William Elkins IV,
Yes,
William,
sir.
um, is really kind of an entrepreneur's entrepreneur in that sense. Um, we're going to be talking about one of his business ventures today, but he's actually booked on another one of my shows in a few weeks to talk about another one of his ventures. And so I encourage you to really, hear William's message because this is and I hope you don't mind my saying this is a young man, or at least younger than me.
Come on,
Right?
I'm trying to catch up to you, man. You know, you got the young spirit, man.
But he's a young man who's really built his life in many ways from scratch, which is what we have to do these days. And the fact that he's a fellow Trojan, just makes it a little bit warmer in my heart. So can't fail to mention that. But William, welcome
Let's
to
get my
People Making
father out
Money.
the room. Let's make sure he's not here. You know, confidentiality
Oh, that's right.
agreement.
He's a UCLA guy, isn't he?
He's on
I
the other
won't.
side of the house.
Okay, okay. Well, in deference to your being at his house, I won't make my usual UCLA joke. So,
Hey, we're still bitter with this Chip Kelly nonsense, man. He's like, man, ain't nobody going to that game. I'm like, oh man.
the rival goes on,
Yeah.
it's just it's eternal.
And we're literally, college football never ends.
It doesn't. I have to say, as an aside, this is back when I was at USC, so we're talking the very early 80s. There was a whole discussion back then about whether there should be, like a tournament for college football rather than, having the polls to decide who was the best team. And I called into a radio show at the time when they were talking about it, and I said, no, you don't want to have a tournament because half the fun of college football is arguing whether the polls are correct or not, right? So if we have an actual tournament now, we have nothing to
Yeah.
argue about, right?
Crazy, man. That's a real topic now with going on with these rankings, man.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
FSU, boy, I feel for it, man. Like, it's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, so William, I'm gonna ask you, as I normally do my guests on People Making Money, to kind of go back as far as you're willing to talk about. I know I've people have heard this several times but like when I was a kid, I had no sense that I would end up doing what I'm doing now. I wanted to be, I think, an astronaut at one point. I wanted to be an animator, because I love Disney movies, that kind of thing. So I'm just curious, if you're willing to share it with us. When you were a kid, what did you think you'd be doing, professionally, or, what do you think you'd be doing when you grow up, right? That was the sort of quintessential question.
Yeah, I had aspirations to be a lawyer,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, just coming up, and then at Morehouse, the whole path was political science, law school. Uh, didn't turn out that way. I learned that, money cannot be the main motivator to get through law school. You gotta have some love and passion for this law thing. And
Uh-huh.
I just didn't have that much passion to do another 4 years after 4 at Morehouse. So yeah, I went to business route. I switched majors to business administration, and that was the best thing. It more fits my personality. And yeah, I just kind of put that on the back burner and honed in on the business side. So yeah, I wanted to be a lawyer growing up. Interesting.
I mean, that is interesting. Besides the was there what else was there besides the prospect of 4 years, or 3 or 4 years more school that led you to conclude that, being a lawyer wasn't the right decision for you?
Well, I kind of knew after college, I wanted to start making money. I didn't want to go into post grad right away. So that was one of the distinctions, was even going to business school. They had requirements. You had to have at least 2-3 years experience, work experience. So I was like, well, okay, post grad is not out the door, but at least the business route, I would be able to start making money right away out of college. I had enough of scholastics. I was ready to get to it,
Right.
So yeah. And I just, the Morehouse Business Association is world renowned. We were highly, highly sought after by the major Fortune 500 companies. And it just, to be honest, something about the Morehouse Business Association you really got me focused. Like, this is where I need to be, So, and business has always been like in the back of my head. Like my first job was shining shoes, at 13 at Chambers Shoe Shine, my guy Paul, Steve. These are vets that Steve owns Chambers. Paul was his brother. But these are elders, my friend. We're talking early 90s. LA was a different city, a lot more dangerous, a lot more activity, other elements going on. And this man started his own company in the midst of all of this. Steve. And then Paul was his brother and ran it. And I'm 13 shining shoes and focusing on tips, because that's that you get your little pennies hourly, but the money is in the tips. And that excited me. It excited me to, in the middle of the day, looking forward to the end of the day, to count how much money I made in tips. So I think that started the entrepreneurial spirit. I've even doing chores at 10 years old, taking the garbage out, getting a quarter here, 50. I'm a saver. So I would always save. So it always would excite me to see my money grow. So I would attest my father instilling this work ethic in me early helped out with this. But I'll tell you, my first job at American Express, when I graduated from Morehouse, when I got that check and I saw how much money Uncle Sam took out, and then I said, wait a minute, I can't make no more than this every 2 weeks. But the responsibilities and the workload steadily increases. I said, nah, man, I got to figure this out, because this is not enough money for me. And I was making $45,000 out of college at 21. That's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
When you break that thing down, I mean, I'm grateful. But I said I need to find a tax write-off, a separate independent business, so I can offset these taxes. Figure something out, because y'all asking way too much of me, but this is what you paying me. So that sparked it.
And that that's really interesting. It's I'm when you said that, I was thinking there was this famous episode of the TV show Friends where the Jennifer Aniston character, Rachel, gets her first paycheck and she's like, "Who's this FICA guy?" Right? There's like this sort of coming to reality moment when
Yeah.
we get that check, right? And we're looking at us like, wow. But more importantly, and see, this is where I always came from, is the idea that someone else is controlling my potential, is so to speak. That seems to be a realization you came to very early in your professional life, and that seems to have driven you to go beyond that.
Oh yeah, I mean, just being control of your destiny, your future, just your business. Absolutely was an eye opener. And I mean, it was either climb up this corporate ladder to where I could be making 100,000, 250 a year. Now, when you're on that level and you getting that check every 2 weeks, that's a different conversation because that's some good money.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's W-2 100,000 a year. That's
Mm-hmm.
different from self-employed 100,000 a year. It just the bottom line because that check every 2 weeks. So I was like, and I'm gonna tell you, I mean, I had aspirations to go to Wall Street. Like when I got into Morehouse and business and switched from poly to business, I was out Wall Street, baby, because we had all the majors coming, Amex, JP Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, all of them was coming to Morehouse to get because they know diversification, and this is the cream of the crop. We're the Harvard of HBCUs.
Right.
So oh man, I just was excited, man. You hear you hear about Wall Street, you hear the stories, and just I mean, just ambition, just like man, New York, but it didn't. I went another route, so I just was like, I gotta figure something out because that could take 10 years and it's not guaranteed. So absolutely, that was a major driving force as well. Just being in control of my financial future.
So you're at American Express. How long did you stay there? And how long were you at American Express?
Last of the year, man, during the height of 9/11,
Oh, okay.
they let me go. Um, and then I went and got my real estate license.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that was an interesting time. Yeah, it was literally through the height of 9/11. And yeah, I just I was motivated when they let me go because I was like, this is a good opportunity,
Mhm.
but then it sinks in like, oh shoot, that check's not coming every two. So, it motivated me more. Um, but yeah, man, it was an interesting, I mean, honestly, too, everybody was I mean, still to this day, people are opinionated, but we would have the topic, we would have open-ended conversations in the office, and it had to do it about 9/11 and opinions around. And I never remember a girl that had been with the company for a while. It's just like, you got to watch that. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, your opinion. You're very strong-minded, but sometimes in some areas and places and atmospheres, it may not be well received. It's just
Mm.
like, wow, interesting. So I was like, wow, okay. So, that just kind of stuck with me. But it showed where you gotta play politics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta, so I just knew that I needed to have some options.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't put all my eggs in this one basket.
Right. Right.
Because the loyalty is not really reciprocated 100%, because they'll let you go at a drop of a dime.
Mm-hmm.
But they want you to work weekends. It's like in their eyes, it's the company, then God. I mean, it's amazing the allegiance that they require once you so-called are a company man, or you're trying to make a career out of this, and it ain't just a job.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be better be willing to sacrifice some of your personal, because it's very demanding. So I did not like that. I didn't like that lack of reciprocation and loyalty, because I'm the type of guy who will go to work when I'm sick. I am dedicated and loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta be reciprocated. At least compensate me,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I knew that I had to get just another avenue.
Yeah. So you said you got your real estate license, and now where were you working for American Express? Was it here in California?
Yeah, ironically, the job was back. I interned with them the summer before my senior year in LA, and they extended me full-time off, and the job happened to be back in Torrance.
Oh, okay.
So I came back in Torrance, and so I got my real estate license, started working for a firm, a mortgage bank. But you got to keep in mind, I was like 22, and it literally, I was feel like I have a midlife crisis, going from 45,000 a year to calling on real estate offices in the summer in Downey to 100% commission.
Uh-huh.
Think about that, bro.
Yeah.
That'll kind of mess with you a little bit. So, I went back into corporate. I got a management position with Washington. Remember WAMU, Washington Mutual?
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
was with WAMU. I was in their management training, and once again, the loyalty, right? So they tell you when you're graduating, you're going to take a pay cut. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. How am I going to be promoted or graduate to an assistant manager level position, and I'm getting a pay cut less than I was as a trainee? Does that make any sense? No. What's their logic? Oh, don't worry. You'll make up for it in commissions. You'll make up for it in bonuses. But yet they put you in the lowest level producing branch. That's how it works. You got to earn it. So I said, here we go again. Like, guess what, Kevin? I didn't take it. No, I'm sorry. No, before that, I went to work for a mortgage bank. You don't need a real estate license to work for a mortgage bank. I was working for a good friend's mother, rest in peace, Brandon Woodward. His mother, Sandra, wonderful lady in Brentwood. Black woman that owns a mortgage bank in Brentwood in the early 2000s. Something to say. Just got to give her props. But I wasn't ready. I was, like I said, 21. That's when I went and got with WAMU. But then when I didn't take the management training position, so then I had to get my real estate license, because I started working with my godfather doing loans as a mortgage broker. Then you got to have a license. So went and got the license, and started doing that. Moving a little fast. How much time do we have?
We got an hour. So
okay.
Yeah.
So started doing that. I bought my first house, where I'm still now, through the grace of God, kept it. But I did 100% financing. This is during the 100% era. I was lost when I got the mortgage banking job. They said, yeah, we offer a loan 100% stated. I said, what does that mean? No, how about this? No doc. I said, huh? Yeah, we have a loan, no doc. All you do is run your credit, and we'll give 100%. I was like, you're not verifying income. You're not verifying. No doc. I said, how?
Right.
This is the Bush era. 100% homeowners. That's how they got this stuff done. The most cutthroat and risky loans that you could think of, man. So, but I'm being a hypocrite because I took advantage of it.
Right.
So I bought, but 100%. My point is, I had a $2,500 mortgage. I financed my leather couch, all my furniture was leathered out. So I had a monthly liability debt of close to fucking 5,000, bro.
Oof.
And I'm doing loans 100% commission at 22. I did this for 2 years. So it let me know I love real estate, my friend, but I gotta get some other income coming in, because the way of the just the nature of it, right? It could take you 6 months to get your first deal. That's what they tell you.
Right.
But then it takes 30 days to close. So I'm just thinking, how the hell are y'all surviving in the interim? I mean, geez Louise.
Right.
So I just was like, and that's a very stressful life to live.
Oh, yeah.
Like just 100% real estate, and I don't have any income property bringing in. I'm just totally commissions. I did it, but I said, no way, bro. And then what happens when the deal falls out of escrow and that money gonna pay your mortgage? It's happened. I said, I need balance and diversification. So kind of what we're here to talk about today, I pivoted into the private car transportation realm. Started doing Uber X. Elevated to Uber Black. See, this is what people got to understand about the whole Uber thing. There's levels to Uber as far as the service and the ride share is concerned. Uber X is a totally different product, totally different service than Uber Black SUV. It is night and day. And it's night and day in terms of what it takes to transition to do Uber Black. So, and I've done it all. So I started out Uber X, did that for about a year or two. And at first it was cool, but after a while, man, you know, it's pennies. It's modern day slavery, bro. You're working till 3 a.m. just to freaking pay the bills. And Uber, they don't really take care of their drivers. Like, I mean, you've seen the class action lawsuits. I work for them. You know, you find out you're taking a pay cut Christmas Eve when your passenger tells you, did you hear the good news? Uber reduced the rates. Oh, but that may not be too good for you. No, it's not, sir. How does that work? You find out that you took a pay cut when they cut you your check during the Christmas holidays that's 30% short. That's Uber. That's Uber for you. No problem. So I transitioned to Uber Black. Right now, at this time, Uber was not allowing any new Uber Black accounts in California because it was saturated. So the whole business model changed. So now you got to work under somebody else's account. So a group of individuals, they cornered the market. So you would get your SUV from them, use their Uber Black account, but you're paying $600 a week. Yeah. 600, either $500 to $600 a week, depending on the year of the Suburban or the, well, shit, don't let me talk about Escalade. 700 even before the new bodies. So it's a serious grind because Uber X, you turn your phone, boom, 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 boom. Uber Black, no. You turn your phone in maybe an hour before you get one hit, maybe two. But that one hit can be $100 ride. So the what do they call it? The mileage and the per minute rate is significantly higher. It's like $5 per mile per minute. It's night and day compared to Uber X. So the money is there to be made, but it's a grind. And you're not even Black or even coming close to making a profit until you pay your $600 lease, is what we call it. So you can imagine how challenging that could be, but it's an art, and it takes a certain individual. You could have $2,000-$3,000 weeks, but the beauty, the essence of it is in the private realm. the private clients, the private service, when they hire you off the books hourly. That's where the real money is made and where the real service is. So that's where I started my own company.
Got it. So before we get
Yes.
on that, I want to stick with the Uber for just a minute because
Yes.
I remember this is going back probably at least a couple of years ago. I used to, well, would have been actually pre-COVID. So I was doing a lot of traveling. I was using Uber quite often, talked to a lot of drivers. And I remember talking to one fellow, and he was talking about how much he made a month. And I said, "Well, how much do you make after you pay your gas, your insurance, your car maintenance, etc." And he said, "Well, I never really calculated all that in."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'm just curious." And he said, and I think he came up with like $500 a month or something after he took all that, into
Was this
account.
an Uber Black? This was a
No, no,
Uber.
this is a regular Uber
Oh,
driver.
okay.
And so then I said, if you take off the depreciation of your car because you're using it a lot more than you would if you were just driving it, how much do you think you make then? And he said, probably nothing. And that's when I realized, I mean, I think this applies to all these rideshare services. I'm not bagging on Uber separately because Lyft, I think they all work pretty much the same way. But I think what they're counting on is people are not looking at the true cost to be a driver because it's more than just the share that Uber takes. It's all their other costs, gas, maintenance, insurance, all that stuff, plus the fact that you're going to wear your car out more quickly. So I'm curious, as someone who's been in that milieu far more deeply than I ever was, what do how do people, look at all of that in terms of whether they're really making money or not?
Well, from an Uber X standpoint, it's pretty sad, because they'll kind of have you by the cojones, so to speak. Because this is the thing, the average, I don't want to say the average, but there are a lot of Uber drivers and a lot of just people in general that do these ride share that don't have a college degree, don't have a lot of work experience. So this is literally the only thing like they can do, or like I mean, you can get another job at Rouse or whatever, but so and it really dawned on me, and it really just humbled me when I was doing Uber X and going through the motions, because I met a gentleman. I think I don't. I was using Uber. I met a gentleman that had 3 kids, and he was doing this full time, feeding his family. Uber X.
Wow.
And it just humbled the hell out of me. I said, shit, I got to just drive and give my praise and have faith and have fun out of this. Because I'm so business oriented. Every time I finish a trip, I want to see my money. I'm calculating it. I'm very strategic. After the full day, boom, 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 tally up. Okay, this is how much I made. Boom, boom, boom. I can project my weekly earnings. I'm a different type of individual. But once you start seeing like, damn, man, I drove from LA to freaking Sherman Oaks for $10. What the hell? I'm losing. So a lot of them, they don't even, especially Uber X, you're not doing that type of analysis like, okay, depreciation, how much of because you're just focused on the earnings. So it's somewhat like a pitfall, because once you start doing it, and then I mean it does pay the bill somewhat, it's like you're relying on it. Now it's like, damn, I gotta get out here Friday night, deal with this Hollywood weirdo crowd just to pay my rent. it's a sad cycle.
Hmm.
Um, but that's honestly, Kevin, that's what made me transition to Uber Black.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, I can't continue to do this. It's just it's really
Right.
too frustrating, you know.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
you bring up a good point, man. That's drivers typically don't consider that.
Okay. So now you drove Uber Black for a while and you realized the real money was in having your own car service.
Well,
How did all that come into
right,
being? Tell us,
right.
tell us that
So
story.
right. So what typically would happen is once I get an Uber Black Uber SUV hit, I get in the car. I mean, it's just my service is a little different. I got the water, candies, goodies. It's just you're in another world when you get in my vehicle. So within 5 minutes, they'd be like, "Are you available to pick us up?" I'm like, "Yeah." Well, off Uber. Like, yeah, okay. And see, the thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was doing this in Uber X. I was flipping clients because
Hmm.
instead of we charge 125 an hour now. Industry standard is 150, but I would charge 50.
Hmm.
But see, you got to be careful with that with Uber X because they Uber takes it like you're poaching their client.
Mm.
Now with Uber Black, they're dealing. You're literally a limo company. The PTCP. There's other. So what I learned is that's understood because you're a limo company.
Hmm.
You're servicing clients outside of Uber, and see that because that's when I learned a lot of the companies that do Uber Black are limo companies. They're
Oh.
not just regular drivers. No, they're actual limo companies. And guess what? That have been doing this far way before Uber.
Oh.
Bro,
Interesting.
think about this, man. Think about when you was in high school and you
Hmm.
going to prom and you got that limo. That's
Right.
that's limo service.
Right.
That's
Right.
been going on since the 70s, since the 80s.
Hmm.
And they've
Yeah.
been getting paid good money too, but it was not promoted. You didn't really know about
Hmm. Hmm.
it. Uber world broadcast this. Talk to people in New York, San Francisco. This ain't nothing new.
Hmm.
They shook up the taxi field. Uber X shook up the see. Woo, what Uber did is damn near. I mean, it's groundbreaking how they just literally came in and shook up the business world on the train. I mean, you got to give them some props. But so they shook up the Uber X, shook up the taxis. But see, what I didn't know is they shook up the limos. Because I
Hmm.
started meeting Uber Black, and they break down their stuff. Like, man, I've been doing this way before Uber. Uber came in and just shut us all down. So we had to get an Uber Black account.
Hmm.
So, and then I started, I had older vets in the game that was doing it, but that was just hustlers. I was meeting cats that didn't have Uber Black accounts and is at these events just hustling, bro. I said, damn, bro, I gotta respect that because that ain't easy. But it
Hmm.
had me doing because they ain't hustling for no $50 Uber X or Uber Black, right? They hustling 250 regardless, 300 regardless. And they would
Wow.
stick to it. I'd see them turn away. Nope, 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 nope. But they'd eventually get one. So shit, don't let me start talking about Coachella, boy. Woo, woo, you really get up there. So I learned it's about the privates. It's about the private clients that hire you outside of Uber Black.
Mm.
So that just started getting my motto. So my thing was my strategy. I literally would wake up 6 in the morning and drive to Beverly Hills, the Peninsula, Bel Air Hotel, and the Beverly Wilshire to catch airport runs.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then the Uber SUV is $100 from Bel Air Hotel to LAX.
Hmm.
Easy, you netting 100 if you get an SUV.
Hmm.
But the goal is let me pick you up.
Mm.
So then they would hire me outside of
Hmm.
Uber to pick them up. So I said, okay. Then I'm like, okay, damn, okay, boom, boom, boom. So then I would start getting international clients or clients that are traveling in town.
Mm.
They'd be like, look, can you just take care of us the whole week we here? Absolutely. Then I started looking at that money. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's where it is. That's
Mm.
where it is. Like you still not have $5,000 a week. Like I see what the vets was talking about. Like, no, bro, stick with this. You get a couple of privates that don't drive.
Mm-hmm.
All they want is a driver, and this is nothing new. You have individuals that are so savvy and sophisticated that they don't drive themselves. They have their own driver, their own chef. The there are literally hundreds of thousands of people just like this in LA,
Mm-hmm.
because LA, San Francisco, New York, we're the top of the tier. You got people that live in some of the most extravagant lifestyles that you will see in your life. And those are the ones I want.
Mm-hmm.
I met individuals that they had one client, they making 100,000 a year just from one, because
Wow.
they charging 100 an hour. You do even 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do the math.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Oh yeah, this is where I want to be." And but I was tired of paying the 600 a week. I was tired of kind of being, there's still limitations because it wasn't my vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I had a partner, and Hike is a good dude. I like Hike. You know what I mean? He's, yeah, because his culture, they monopolized the Uber Black market in terms of the SUV and the Uber Black account. They really did something great. So you literally, you'd be a medium person you get your vehicle from, and it's just like you can't avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Like what did y'all do, man? Did y'all rally up and just head to San Francisco to the Uber office? But anyways, I just so um I was like, and this was during COVID. I applied for the EIDL loan because the whole market ceased.
Mm-hmm.
There was no business during
Right.
COVID.
Right. Right.
And he still wanted a weekly rate. He brought it down from 600 to 200. But bro, there's no business. I have to give you your vehicle back.
Right.
So I applied for one of the EIDL loans. And keep in mind, I still was an independent contractor during these times. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what people got to understand. You can always be an independent contractor. Even if you're like, working for another company, but you do some side business, you're an independent contractor. So you could use that to your advantage. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why the COVID loans were so phenomenal, because they were lending to independent contractors, not just LLCs, corporations. So I hope people took advantage of that because it was so streamlined. But one of the conditions was we need to see, okay, also independent contractor, if you want to be legitimate, you got to actually have a business and you got to file it with the Secretary of Business, the Secretary of Business, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they shut the courts down the next day? Because of COVID. I'm literally going to my notary to get everything notarized and it's shut down. So you got to keep your faith up because they denied me.
Oh.
But guess what? I'm talking about the EIDL loan.
Right. Uh-huh.
Guess what? You people know you can always rebuttal. You can always ask for a re-review. When
Mm-hmm.
you're getting loans, whatever it is, typically you have an opportunity to ask, like, look, review this again. Let me reapply. It worked. Then all of a sudden I get an email from my notary. Oh yeah, the offices are opened up. You're finalized. Here's your company. Boom, boom. So yes. So COVID sparked it all.
Mm.
But the thing is, I had to start all over because I would get my clients from Uber Black,
Mm-hmm.
flip them.
Mm-hmm.
All I had was my Rolodex full of phone numbers, but these people ain't talked to me in 2 years. Think about that. COVID was a 2-year run.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Half they don't remember who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kevin, that's what brings me here because, excuse me, I wanted to get a little bit more strategic in my alliances.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I got to promote myself because it is my own company. Now we do have now we are LLC,
Mm-hmm.
solidified, Illustrious Transportation Services. I can share the screen if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I have literally incorporated all the years of experience with Uber X, Uber Black, because there are some transferable skills, service, patience, especially with Uber X, that I've transferred into my company.
Mm-hmm.
I know the lay of the land. I'm an LA native, and our services are incomparable because just from the feedback that I get from my clients, and I know the average driver is not from LA. I use that to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And our rates are lower. Industry standard. Let's just keep it real. Empire CLS is the biggest private car service company in the world. They're based in Manhattan Beach. They set the benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
They charge $150 an hour, 2-hour minimum, plus taxes and gratuity. We just charge $125 an hour flat, discretionary tip, no pressure. You don't need to tip my drivers or me. We pay our own taxes. So you're going to save money dealing with our company, and you're going to have a different level of service.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rambling on. Do you have any? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. This is all good. So I mean, you've brought up a number of points that I think people can use in their own careers. So one of the things you mentioned a minute ago was you need to be patient, right? Because so many people, I think, they want success and they want it now. It's like, Violet and the Oompa Loompas. Daddy, I want an Oompa Loompa and I want it now, right? And it's like, you can't have one. So um, how have you um, been able to be patient, but also still be able to pay your bills, right? That's kind of the crux that most small business owners find themselves in, is they want to keep like I have a friend, he recently um he was working on something, he really loved what he was doing, but he was just running out of money. And so he had to take, a job, so to speak. And because he had to pay the bills, he couldn't be patient and pay his rent. So how what do you say to, like, if somebody came to you and said, William, I hear what you're saying, my friend. I want to be patient, but I still got, I gotta buy food and I gotta pay rent. And so how do we navigate that problem, or not problem, that situation?
Yes, yeah, that's a great question because I've been there and I'm trying to reflect. Um, I mean, I don't mean to sound, uh, stereotypical, or that's not the word I'm looking for, just mundane, but I mean, you have to have a belief in a higher power. Like you have to be able to rest in the spirit, so to speak. Um, there are going to be times where you do not know where your next check is going to come from. So faith without works is dead. So, and I mean, I'm kind of going through it now. The activity, consistent activity. Like yesterday, I was out in the field, uh, calling on the hotels because we have a big game this week. UCLA, Boise State. We're
Hmm.
first LA Bowl, and we are aggressively promoting. But I'm out Beverly Wilshire Peninsula. I'm out talking to the concierge. So you got to stay active, because that's when you don't have any business, no money coming in, and you don't have a strategy. That's when you quit,
Hmm.
because that's when the enemy really will start working on you. Like, look, you ain't got nothing.
Hmm.
You ain't got nothing. Then you start getting discouraged. So what I've learned is activity begets more activity, begets business, begets money. Um, you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day.
Right.
Like you definitely, like I said, I was doing Uber X. I was doing the whole grocery store thing when COVID started. you drop off the groceries.
Instacart or whatever it is.
Instacart, right. So I say that to say, if you're going to get in this entrepreneurial world, be prepared to humble yourself and do things that you might not normally want to do, because it will get like that, where you literally don't have you don't know where it's coming in. So, I mean, I like I said, I don't mean it sounds serious, but it's like just, my relationship with Christ, like it really, when you were able to rest in the spirit and kind of have tunnel vision and to be able to block out the external and focus on the internal, you'll be in a better position and disposition to go get it. Because I truly believe if you're frustrated or discouraged or angry, and we all go through that, a lot of times it's just going to lead to more of that, like the laws of attraction. It's really messed up, because you need that more positive energy when you are down, but sometimes you lead to more negative energy. So it's like, my whole thing is you got to get yourself right first. Irregardless, like you may have a 90-day late, you may have a foreclosure notice, like I get it, but you got to get yourself out of that. You got to internally be at peace, and then you can focus, because it's hard to focus when you're angry. You're irrational. You're not thinking straight. It'd be prudent for you not to make a decision right now. So I don't have the exact answer for that, but what I say is you have to have a belief in a relationship with something that's greater than you. You have to be able to tap into new energy. But you got to work. You have to be grinding. Because I'm going to tell you something, that does make you feel better. I am optimistic. All I need is a mustard seed of faith. Just give me one instinct, like just give me one call, one meeting. Okay, we got a meeting set up. That's all I need. And then you just you piggyback off of that, and you level up and you level up, and you feed off of that. Just like yesterday, I got a potential meeting with the Four Seasons, the Pendry Hotel in West Hollywood. We're talking Rose Bowl. We're talking the bowl. But guess what? They haven't given me anything. I don't have any reservations at this point for Saturday. But I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful because I didn't stay at home in pity. I went out in the field. So you have to stay working. You have to stay prospecting and active. But also you have to detach yourself. A couple of weeks ago, I was feeling down. I'm not gonna lie to you, business is slow right now. Business is slow. And obviously it affects my life because I can't pay bills. So one particular Saturday, a couple of Saturdays ago, I was a little discouraged because I think I didn't get anything for one of the games at SoFi, and I did a lot of marketing. And my buddy invited me to go to a all men. Shout out to the Twins. And I'm like, man, that was the best thing I could have done. It's the best thing I did because I was surrounded by new energy. That's why it's good to sometimes just go out, go to a bar, go to a friend's house, go to the movies, get yourself out of the minutia. Give your mind an opportunity to that's why, like, some people say, go take a walk. Go to the ocean, go to the mountains. Let your mind be free of the stress. But you have to get yourself out of the pit, out of the minutia where all the stress is. So, sometimes detach yourself from your work. Because if you're a grinder like me and a lot of you fellow entrepreneurs, you put in the work, you put in the grind. You're not lazy. We're not talking about lazy. This don't apply to lazy people. If you're lazy, you ain't gonna make it. I mean, just be real with you. If you're lazy and you want to be honest, you're not gonna make it. Go get a 9 to 5. Go get it. Go sit behind your cubicle and collect your check every 2 weeks and do the minimum. It's okay. I'm just being real with you. You ain't gonna make it if you lazy. trying to be an entrepreneur at all. It's going to be a very, very frustrating endeavor for you. So with that said, detach sometimes, get out of it, and have a faith in a higher being, meditate, exercise, very important, and continue to grind. So yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievably powerful, because it's so simple, right? And we want to, I think the temptation is to say, well, but where's the magic bullet? It's like, right?
One, brother.
Right? And it doesn't exist.
You're so right.
Right? So rather than sitting around on your backside waiting for that magic bullet, you just got to get up. You got to, like you did, you got to go and see more prospects, because if you see 100 prospects, 10 of them will be potential clients, and you'll get one deal or whatever the numbers are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every business has its ratios. I have a friend who talks about that. He says you got to figure out your ratios, right? When I go out and do prospecting, so I know that for each person I initiate a contact with, 2.85% of that person is going to end up being, a potential client. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like out of 100, roughly 3 are going to end up, being on my list of people to keep in touch with, because we know we're going to end up doing business. That's what it comes to. So I got,
Look at those numbers.
What it is, right?
Look at those odds. You said you got to talk to 100
mm-hmm.
to get 3.
Mm-hmm.
That is LA business for you.
Yeah.
And that's why people that, I'm in Maryland and across the state. I'm like, well, you're not in LA, because LA is very competitive. So that's what he just told you guys. It sometimes comes down to that. You got to talk to 100 to get 3, and he's being very, very proud. It may not take as much, but he's letting you know that in some instances, some industries, a lot of industries, that's what it takes. In this real estate, in this transportation, it's like that.
Yeah. And that's like you said, you call it the grind. It is a grind a lot of times, but that's what you don't get successful without going through the grind, right? I mean, that's
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, man.
So unfortunately we're almost out of time. Tell us again the name of your company.
Yes. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me hold on one second. I think I probably have to set it so you can. Where's the share screen? Okay, you should be able to share.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, let me share this with you guys. And I just want to show you the company, our company. So our company is Illustrious Transportation Services, private and executive car service. This is the company car where you typically get 2022 Lincoln Navigator. It's the best luxury vehicle on the road. I've had the Cadillac Escalade. I love the Escalades, but the Lincoln is more of a luxury ride. That's you got to understand. Cadillac is a sports vehicle. Lincoln is luxury. You got to look at branding. So, and it shows. So, but also let me show you an overview of our services. So, we do pretty much anything from weddings, proms, concerts, sporting events, city tours, airport pickup drop-offs, conventions, corporate accounts, funeral services. We provide a different riding experience than any other private car service limo company. We'll typically have a Yeti cooler full of refreshments and libations for you. But just the energy that I bring, you're going to be able to play your music, look at movies in the car. You're kind of going to have a pre-party before the party, pre-dinner before the dinner. And for you gentlemen, one of my clients had me pick up one of his lady friends and then pick him up. He was set for the whole night. I'm going to tell you the tone that sets for the woman. When you have a personal driver come and pick her up and then come and get you, ooh, she loves it, my friend. So it's like I set the tone for you guys. I set the tone for everybody to have a wonderful evening. Reliability. You can get inebriated. Enjoy yourself. I'm your security. I'm your safety. I make sure everything is good. And just one last thing I want to show you guys,
Yeah.
because we are available for you guys. Please give us a call. This is going to be a great game. The LA Bowl, Saturday at SoFi, UCLA against Boise. You don't want to do Uber at SoFi. It's going to be a nightmare. Talk about waiting an hour for Uber X.
Yeah.
Hire us. We'll take care of everything. VIP parking, or if you don't want to pay for that, we have areas we can stage outside. We're going to escort you back to the vehicle. So yeah, Kevin, thank you so much for the opportunity. You're a wonderful guy, and we are here for you. Illustrious Transportation Services, 310-743-6980.
Okay, and we'll yeah, if you want to go ahead and stop the sharing, we'll wrap up.
Yes.
So
How do I
let's see.
oh, here we go. I think I can just wait. Hold on. How do I
Let's see.
Yeah, how do I stop the sharing?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh no, that. Oh wait, hold on. Wait a minute. It's small.
There should be it should be up at the very top. You should be able to like cancel sharing. Top of the share screen.
Hold on. 1 second.
Oh, here, I'll do it. Okay, there we go. I did it for you. I was able to do it for you. So I'll put the information in the show notes. So for people who are watching or who may, watch over the next few days, I'll put the information how they can contact your company in the show notes, right? So they can get a hold of you. And the fact of the matter is this will go up on our YouTube channel. So even subsequent viewers, if they want to get in touch with you, they'll have your website, they'll have your phone number, and they can get in touch with you and get a fantastic ride. I will say that in 2019, when I took my family to Israel, we had a ton of luggage. And, frankly, normally I would just grab an Uber to the airport. And I thought, no, this is a mistake. And so we did use a car service. And it was the best thing we ever did. It started the trip out right. And then when we got back, we're so tired. We've been in Israel for a week and a half. It was really hot that summer. And when we fly back, it's like, 18 hours, on airplanes or whatever it is, right? Going through customs, all that. And we walk out and there's the driver. He's there with nice big vehicle. He's got water for us. And it just ended the trip nice, when he dropped us off at home. So, if I ever do that kind of, take that kind of trip again, I'm definitely going to use a car service. And it's funny what you said about the Lincoln, because years and years ago, when I traveled a lot for business, I would sometimes take a car service. It was always a Lincoln Town Car. That was the most beautiful car, better than the Cadillacs. So
see, the Town Car is the original private car service vehicle before the whole SUV phenomenon.
Right.
And what was it? Lincoln Town Car.
Lincoln Town Car, right? And I mean, just so beautiful. The ride was like you were flying. You were floating, not driving. So you got it all. That's for sure. So William, thank you so much for coming on today.
My honor, Kevin.
And honestly, just your ideas about how to be successful. All of you who are watching, I hope you really, took on board what William said. And if you didn't, watch it again. Listen to what William's saying, because this is, as we in Hebrew we have the word, this is the emes, this is the truth. You can hear all this, stuff about, you can, with the internet and social media, and it's a snap your fingers and it's done. No, don't buy any of that stuff. You grind it out and you make it happen, and you be happy because you have the opportunity to grind it out. And you look at this man. You see a man who's content with his life, who's grateful for the opportunity that he's been able to take advantage of and create for himself. This is the image of a successful individual is
Stop
right here. And the fact that he'll tell you the truth about the ups and downs of success, you know that what you can rely on what he's been saying to you, and I really appreciate that, because not everybody has the courage to come on and really really talk about how it is, right?
Yes.
It's that I think that's the hardest thing for us to do, because we somehow it's like, no, my success just oh, it was
Right.
all that kind of stuff. No, it never works that way. So again, thank you very much
Thank you, Kevin, for having
for
me.
coming on. It was great show. I wish we had more time.
No, we'll do another one.
We will. We will. That's our show for today. I thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Next week, Monday, all these times are Pacific times, 10 a.m. Trust and Estates Weekly. Tuesday next week, business lessons from the military. We're actually going to be wrapping up our discussion of Marine Corps warfighting doctrine translated for the business world. So that we've been working on this, a good part of this year. So we're gonna wrap it up here in the next week, and then 7 days from today will be the next edition of People Making Money. So and all my shows now are at 10 o'clock, so we can meet the same time every day. So I invite you to join us next week. William, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. Looking forward to talking to you again, and keep working on all the things we're working on. And just wrapping up, and I'm going to have you hang tight. I'm going to take us offline in a minute, and we can chat offline for a minute. But as I always do, wrapping up, Marie, darling, you are my belle. Thanks so much, folks. Enjoy the rest of your week.